today to give you an update on all of the progress that we've made since we were in front of each of you in October. If you guys remember, we like to have what we call placemats, which are a summary of what all we've accomplished, what we plan, and a consolidated fact sheet for the investment. So I'm going to ask Brittany Lee, one of our assistant project managers, to give a financial update, and then one of our senior construction managers, Bradley Bimberton, to give you an update on construction. So Brittany, if you don't mind.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. We've been working alongside the city to help manage the funding sources. There are currently 4 funding sources that include ARPA, Montgomery 5, CDBG, and the MFI bond amount for a total funding amount of $43 million. Of that $43 million, 33.7 is obligated to the community centers currently to date. And we've also been helping to grow the MBE and DBE program. So for that program, to date, we have $7.6 million obligated to minority and disadvantaged-owned businesses.
Hi, good morning. I'm looking forward to telling you guys a little bit about some of the construction, some things you can actually drive out and see on the sites. First of all, if you look somewhat on your placemat chronologically, as y'all may already be aware, we've already started construction several months ago on Crump, Sheridan Heights, and TRC. So all those are third of the way, getting close to half of the way of construction progress. But just last week, we started demolition at Chisholm, which is exciting. On top of that, site work began at Lagoon Park last week. The good part of the timing of Lagoon Park is we have a scheduled completion date prior to the first tournament in mid-February. So we look on track for Lagoon Park. In the next weeks, we hope to have Kalmar construction contract routed through the city, and then hope to start planned construction in July for Kalmar. So we're looking forward to that. In addition to that project in July, we're also hope to have Regency publicly bid out in July. As we move forward, another project that we're really looking forward to is Madison Park. We plan to advertise that project for bid in August. There's a lot of, Ms. Beard's excited for one. There's a lot of neat things that are going to be going on at Madison Park. As you guys are already probably aware and have seen over on Fairview, the fire station number 10, really great project there that's moving along smoothly, is about halfway, maybe a little more than halfway complete, state-of-the-art facility. It's going to be really a proud facility for all the community, honestly. Lastly, a location that we really think is going to reap the benefits of this funding because of the options that it has, the amount of upgrades, the potential that it has, is Sheridan Heights. Sheridan Heights has a wonderful space, a lot of opportunity for outdoor activity as well at Sheridan Heights. So we're really looking forward to the work moving on at Sheridan Heights. And then I didn't want to get into a lot of the details of construction, but that's what the placemat's for. So y'all look on the back of the placemat and you can get a lot more detail on Crump, Sheridan Heights, TRC, the fire station, what's gone on the last 2 or 3 months and what's expected over the next 2 or 3 months. Thank you.
And since you guys can't see the PowerPoint, we've got renderings and construction progress photos as you flip through the PowerPoint to give you guys an idea of where we stand construction-wise. So with that, we're happy to take questions or turn it over to Robert for the transportation traffic update.
Go ahead.
Pro Tem, I have a question. Good morning, how you all doing?
Doing well.
Has anyone ever talked about Haver Road Community Center to you all in this project?
Yes, so I believe Hainville Road, if you look at the back, it's not a tier 2. Okay, when we started this exercise, we looked at all of the community centers and we developed tiering structure based on usage and functionality. Several of the community centers at that time we determined were owned by Montgomery Public Schools. We were working through the city and MPS to transfer and work through agreements. At this time, the investment was focused on community centers that were owned by the city of Montgomery because we couldn't invest those funds in properties that weren't owned by the city at that time. So we've looked at all the community centers and have a plan for those down the road should those ownership deeds be transferred to the city of Montgomery.
Thank you.
I don't, yeah, but I don't.
Is everybody else good?
One of the things that we're focusing a lot on today is construction and renovations of the community centers, but if you'll notice, there's over $1 million also allocated for technology that will spread beyond the 4 or 5 community centers that we're talking about for construction. So I'm not sure exactly how many, but it's probably 9 or 10 that will get technology upgrades that will be inserted into those facilities as well.
Thank y'all.
All right, thank you guys. You have a wonderful day.
At this point, we have one more group of projects to talk to you about, and Mr. Robert Smith will speak to you guys about that.
Good afternoon,
Good
Council.
afternoon.
Mr. Pruitt.
Could you state your name and who you're with?
Absolutely. Hopefully we'll get the PowerPoint presentation fired up. But good afternoon, Council. I'm Robert Smith, as you all know, City Planning Director here at the City of Montgomery. Always an honor, pleasure, privilege to be here with you. We're here today to give you an update on proposed renovations and improvements at our large transit system stations. The one located at 2346 West Fairview Avenue, which is where we refer to it as the West Fairview Avenue Transit Station, and the main hub of the transit system, which is at 495 Moulton Street, that we call the Intermodal Transportation Facility. We've allocated about $3 million in City of Montgomery coronavirus stimulus funds and American Rescue Plan Act funding, which was allocated particularly for the transit system. This is a 100% no-match funding source. We've entered into professional services contract with Robinson and Associates Architecture to manage the projects at both locations. They have been doing architectural designs, renderings, and construction plans to get these projects constructed. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Barry Robinson and his team, who will present the renovations and improvements at both of those locations. And one last thing, we do have one other project, which is going to be a large transit system bus washer to actually be able to wash large vehicles, the buses, just like an individual would do at a car wash. So right now, we've basically got 2 or 3 guys, staffers over there that are actually using large, long brushes to wash those big buses. And so that's something that we're gonna come to you with at a later date. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Barry Robinson, and he'll give you a presentation on the projects.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Name is here again is Barry Robinson, manager and owner of Robinson Associates Architects. To my right, I have Joshua Gordon, and to my left, I have Glazer Robinson. We're the team of Robinson Associates Architects located here in Montgomery, Alabama, and we're the team that was hired by the city to do the renovation for the bus transit locations. We have 2 locations, West Fairview, as he's spoken, and the Moulton Street locations. First of all, I want to try to go through the scope in terms of exactly what we're vision, in terms of what we're trying to achieve, in terms of the West Fairview location. We'll try to go through each one of them, and scope-wise try to, yes.
Mr. Robinson, hey, can you get this on our screen on this? Is that possible? So we got to turn around.
Yes.
He's talking to our back. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Yes, sir. Are you ready? Is he ready?
Did he get it? All right.
I'll give him a second.
Yes.
I'll give him a
No,
second.
go ahead, go ahead. That's what we want you to talk to the back
Okay.
of our heads while we're all looking
Sure.
somewhere else.
But basically, West Fairview location, what we have is scope-wise, and I'll try to go through them briefly, canopy structure replacement, painting of the exterior metal truss, exposed miscellaneous steel framing, electrical conduit, etc. In other words, what we're trying to do is give this facility a new facelift. When we first went out there, we saw a lot of blight, and our concept is to get rid of the blight. So we'll start with the canopy structure. As you know now, it has a little aluminum frame canopy with some panels on it that have haze over a period of time. So we'll take away that entire canopy structure, we'll paint the existing metal roof, we'll paint all the underside of the steel trusses, the steel framing itself, and also there's some exposed masonry, we'll paint all that, and there's some exposed EFIS, exterior insulation finish system. On the painting also, we'll do some exterior painting on the masonry, there's some rear face block, and then we'll paint the interior of the restrooms there, public restrooms. All the new plumbing fixtures will be replaced and accessories. We will put a new flooring in the restrooms. That's the epoxy cementitious finish. The new staff restroom. We will add a staff restroom. There's no restroom there now for staff. We'll put an ADA accessible restroom in there. We will change out all the mechanical, meaning that all the exhaust fans, all the ceiling fans, all the HVAC that serves the office now, it's just a little window unit. We'll take that out and put a new unit that'll serve not only the office, but the toilet itself. All the electrical will be replaced, all the lighting. So our goal on this particular location is to get rid of the blight. And when we turn to the next picture, you'll see what I'm speaking of. So when we look at this facility, the first thing I notice is the fencing and the barbed wire at the top. So we've talked with the city. One of the things that we're concerned about, of course, if we upgrade the facility, we want it to look conducive and friendly for a patron that's coming to the facility. Not like it's some kind of prison facility. So we want to get rid of the barbed wire. The city has talked to us about painting the fencing and keeping the lawn a little bit better. But beyond that, it's up to the architect to bring the building up to a level that would be satisfactory for a patron to be able to frequent and feel comfortable in the facility. So when you look at it, you look at the panels on the outside. That's the canopy structure that we're talking about. And the little haze panels. All that will be taken down. We'll take that down completely. We'll do a new system. It'll be a pre-finished metal frame system, aluminum frame, but we'll come back with new panels that won't haze. We'll have panels in there that'll be a multi-polycarbonate panels. And then we'll go in here and you see the roof trusses, they're ornamental frame. We'll prime, paint, and spruce those up. All the exposed metal framing, we'll clean that up and paint that as well. All my electrical fixtures, all my ceiling fans, all my lighting, all that will be replaced. All that will be new fixtures. And so we'll basically clean the inside up so a patron will feel more comfortable sitting inside of here. One of the things that we also saw that a patron is sitting on a precast concrete tee. That's a bridge component, concrete tee, that's turned upside down and it's sit on concrete blocks. So it's a little, what we call a little inhuman. So what we want to do is humanize this facility and we'll come back and put a cementitious coating on that bench to make it a little bit more acceptable for a patron to be able to sit on it. So as you look inside, what I was speaking about is the bench. That's a precast concrete tee to the bottom left there, and that's just inverted, and that's what a patron has to sit on as of now. So all the concrete apron that will be cleaned up, patched, and sealed, and also we know that we have some areas in there that are probably would have to be taken out. So we'll take out a certain amount of concrete apron in there based on the allowance that we have. But all the panels will be replaced, and we'll paint all the framing, and like I said, all the mechanical and all that will be replaced as well. All the unit heaters, the gas unit heaters, those will be replaced as well. And so we would have a new ADA accessible restroom for the staff that will be directly accessible from the office as it is now. And so the vision is to replace all the panels and the canopy framing so you would have a total new look. So conceptually, what we're trying to do, turn to the next one. This is our vision. Conceptually, we give it a total new makeover, a total new look. We incorporate the Montgomery Transit Authority logo. We'll try to use the colors that's selected by the city, Good Taste Committee. and that's our concept for the location on Fairview. Moving to the next location, we had a Moulton Street location. This is a little bit different from the Fairview location in that we had a little bit more issues to deal with on this facility. One of the issues was the stair tower. The stair tower has been vagrants and things like that, trash has been tossed in it. So what we're trying to do is go back and enclose the stair tower to a certain degree that it would not rust out and have damage to it. Right now it has a lot of rusting. The roof is falling in at the stair tower. You have a lot of trash in there. We have patrons kind of using it as a place for sleeping at times. Also, we'll pressure wash the concrete apron, underside of the parking deck structure. All that will be cleaned up, and we will seal it and make it a new drive-through. The stair tower brick repair, there's some brick that's falling away from the structure itself. On both brick towers, we will replace, or we will do the repair on both stair tower number 1 and stair tower number 2. Break room renovations, break room as it is now is not conducive for the actual workers, so we'll give a total new break room. We'll renovate it, new cabinetry, new flooring, new ceiling, new lighting. New epoxy flooring, we're going to public restrooms and the staff restrooms. So conceptually, what we're trying to do is get a new look when you go into new public restrooms and the staff restrooms. Of course, we'll upgrade all the plumbing fixtures and all the accessories in all the restrooms. There'll be new tiles. There's a wainscot tile on the bathroom walls that we'll replace. In the staff offices, we'll go back, we'll take the carpet up, and we'll come back with a luxury vinyl plank in those offices. We'll do painting in all the interior restrooms, but just the restrooms. So scope-wise, we're limited to working within the public restrooms, the staff restrooms, and we're doing minimal work in the staff office areas. New mechanical, there was an issue with the IT closet. We would install a new air conditioner for that particular location. Of course, we'll update all the exhaust fans in the restrooms. All the new lighting and new ceilings will be placed in all the restrooms, break room in those locations. So when we look at this facility, I kind of given you a rundown scope-wise, but if you look at the top left corner, that's the stair tower that we're talking about. You have 2 stair towers there open, and being open for the last 10, 20 years, you've had a lot of damage. Damage to the structure. The metal structure is appealing. It can be prep, prime, and repainted, so we can deal with that. That's our scope. So also what we want to do is go in and close off so it won't be so exposed to the weather, so it won't weather so bad so fast. We will still have openings going to the parking decks because those openings give patrons access to the particular parking deck itself. So those won't be closed. But what we're talking about enclosing is the peripheral of the stairwell. Now, we're not talking about enclosing stairwell number 2, but number 1 is within our budget, so we're looking at that. We will do some pointing of the brick. There's some brick falling away on both towers. We will do that. Up under the actual driveway where the buses traverse through, we will clean all that. You got a lot of dirt, grime, grease. We will pressure wash, clean, and seal all that surfaces up under there, the concrete apron, the driveway, the walls, even the underside of the precast concrete tees. We'll clean all that up, seal it, and hopefully it'll be, you'll get a total new look on it. You can go to the next. So here again, talking about the structure for the stairwell, you can see some of the damage. We will address the roof damage. It's leaking, things like that. You can see some algae growing on the brick because that's water or moisture intrusion into the stairwell itself. We will deal with all that. That will be part of our scope. That's inclusive of our job. So just giving you a rundown in terms of floor plan, scope-wise. Like I say, public restrooms will be a total new makeover. Staff restrooms will be a total new makeover. Break room will be a total new makeover. Staff offices, basically, we're just replacing some flooring in there, and we're upgrading the air conditioning for the IT closet. This is not showing the real color that we have in the restroom, but the Good Taste Committee has gone back and we've gone through a process of review where they've selected some tile that's going in the restrooms and the epoxy floor. This is a rendering of the restroom that will be upgraded. Of course, like I say, all the fixtures. So when you walk in the restrooms, it'll be a total new look. Nothing in there will remain the same because everything will be upgraded in there. Go to the next one. This is just a schedule, and the schedule is conjoined. When I say conjoined, what I'm talking about is Fairview and Moulton Street is one big project. So that project is working concurrently as when we bid it, we'll bid it out as one big project to a contractor. I've tried to give you some time frames in terms of dates that we're striving for. My goal is this week we're turning in construction documents to the city and the Department of Construction Manager, that's the Building Commission, for review and approval. Once we get approval, we hope to go and start the bid process with the contractor. As you can see, my projected dates. Hopefully I will start construction August 12th of this year. And tentatively, my thought process is that this project would take probably a little bit over a year, being two different locations, two different sites, because I would have one contractor trying to work both sites simultaneously. This is the little bit where you can't really see it, but I'll give you the gist of it. The gist of it is budget. Everybody wants to know where we're at with numbers, dollars, and cents. So the Fairview location, I came up with a preliminary cost estimate right now. I'm running $687,815 for the Fairview location. For the Moulton Street location, I'm running $688,302. So with a budget for the project to be together, I'm running a budget number of $1,376,115. That's total budget that I have. I originally started this project, I think I was told I had somewhere around 1.2, 1.3 million. So my $1,376,115 is where I'm at now. That's based on reviews by the city, any kind of additional items that's been added to the scope of work. Questions, comments, concerns?
Mr.
Yes,
Robinson, quick question, maybe Mr. Smith, where does this 1.2 or 3 come from out of paying for this project?
Yes, sir. So as I said in the beginning, it is coming from the city's coronavirus stimulus that was given from the pandemic, and also the Transit Systems American Rescue Plan Act money. Both were.
Ms. Beard said she'd give you $500,000 if you needed it.
Oh, okay. Well, good. We will need that.
And I'm going to up that by 10 for Mr. Pruitt.
I
All
have a
right,
question.
510,000.
Oh, President, I have a question. Mr. Reed, this project here with our historical grant money that we had coming in, this will have nothing to do with that, because we were going to include that into some upgrade as well for our historical trail with the bus station as well, the bus station.
True, but some of those things will be an addition to.
Okay, that would be an addition.
Addition to this, yes.
Okay.
So it won't be one complete project. This will be a phase of that project, and then other phases will happen around that, using
Okay.
those dollars.
Yep.
Okay, that's what I need to know. And also, when you all get a printout, can I get a good, I really want to interact with this, because this is over on the west side, and this is dealing with our bus station. And by me being the city council person on that end, I would love to look at this more in depth on what you're doing, because I know you showed a picture of the restrooms and stuff like that, but what it would look like, how everything would look, so I can just kind of see an idea, so we can kind of know what direction we're going in. Because if you know, I'm really into making sure our West Montgomery looks up to par, and that's a part of what I would love to do, is make sure our bus area, you know, I want some landscaping around there, pretty trees and flowers and all that stuff too. We're gonna do it the right way. Let's do it completely and get it looking like we really need to look on our historical trail.
Ms. Riley, we would be glad to have you join our meetings on Monday mornings.
Thank
It's
you.
an open invitation for you. I think several of your council member
Can I get
have
a
joined us,
time?
Samansky, and Ms. Beard has joined us, so we definitely want you to have that same invitation.
And what's the time, please?
We start at 9 o'clock on Mondays, and that's where you can get into the details of weeds, however deep you want to get into this. We'll be happy to have you join us. And that's every Monday morning. So
Thank
you
you.
choose your Monday. We won't keep you much longer other than say thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation. Hopefully you get a sense of what's going on in the city of Montgomery with our capital projects. And guess what? These are not all of them. These are the ones that we're bringing forward that are closest to us moving forward and making sure that they're in place. But just know that come see us. We want you to join us and give us your input. But this train is rolling and it has no brakes. Thank y'all very much.
Mr. Tate, thank you. Mr. Robinson, Mr. Smith, thanks. Next up, Ms. Smith from the Ross Organization. Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Lorraine Smith, and I'm with the Ross Organization.
Yeah.
And I sent in a presentation slide. There we go, we got it. Today I want to kind of educate us again. I'm talking about from experience and what we're dealing with in the community. Addiction, recovery, stigma, and education. That's what the RISE is. And I want to talk about the harm reduction, ways we can reduce some of this stuff that's going on in our community. Again, I'm an advocate for recovery. I'm an advocate for people who are struggling and trying to find a way out. Again, looking at harm reduction. Next slide, please. Harm reduction and its values. Harm reduction values life, choice, respect, compassion, over stigma, discrimination, and punishment. What is harm reduction? Next slide. Let's look at a couple of these objectives that I want to go over. I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I know our time is limited, but we look at what is harm reduction and how to apply harm reduction in our communities. Harm reduction is next slide. Harm reduction is a set of principles and ideas aimed to reduce negative consequences associated with drug use. We're on a different slide. Next slide, please. There we go, thank you. Harm reduction is also a movement for social justice built on a belief and the respect for the rights of people who use drugs. A lot of times we look at people who use drugs and think they don't have any rights, and that's something I want to educate us on. Next slide. Harm reduction basis. It ensures that people who uses drugs and those who have a history of drug use routinely have a voice in the community and creating programs and policies designated to serve them. A lot of times we overlook that because we think that sometimes, and me coming from a treatment facility, behavioral health facility, sometimes we think we know the answer and never get them involved. Next slide, please. Okay, those are some of the risk factors that are associated with our number one drug and harm, which is the opiates and opiates overdose. Mixing the drugs, the tolerance change, the quality, the age and the health, models of administration. I don't know if a lot of you all are...
Okay, go ahead and start trying to wrap it up if you can.
Excuse me?
Keep going.
Okay. I don't know if a lot of us are aware of the community dangers, and me from lived experience, and that's what I really want to talk about, is the lived experience of people that are having so much balance in our community due to substance use disorders and due to the drugs. They cause a lot of criminal activities. Let's move to the next couple of slides. We're going to slide on through. I know my time is very limited. A lot of times we don't know if people are aware of what to do in an opiates overdose. So when you have an opiates overdose, A lot of times, I'm not sure if you all have it down here, we need to have Narcan in us, and those that are in the communities need to know that we need Narcan in our purses, in our business, in our community centers. I am also letting you all know that Ross, the recovery organization, is the first state-run peer organization in the state of Alabama. We have peers in 30 counties in Alabama. We have a community center right here in Montgomery, Alabama, which is at 2100 Mount Meigs Road. We did some work with the prevention of crime, Mr. Keith Moore. Again, talking about the harm reduction, ways in which we can, let's move to slide number 18, if you could. Keep going for me. One more. Okay. Again, if you're not familiar with Narcan, we do have trainings available at 2100 Mount Meigs Road where you can get Narcan and trainings with it. Next slide, please. Again, talking about the fentanyl. We all know that fentanyl is 50% stronger than any heroin, the old drugs, and 100% stronger than morphine, what they give us in the hospital to start us off on that. Next slide, please. That's Narcan. Next slide. The Good Samaritan Law, I'm sure everyone is familiar with that. You would not be prosecuted for trying to help someone if you have Narcan. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, that right there is how you can get Narcan for yourself. I don't know, Montgomery Clinic is not, health department is not on there, but Jefferson County Health Department is on there, and you can also download and scan that Q code and get you some Narcan. Next slide, please. Next slide. Right there. Again, I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I advocate for people who live with drug addiction and have drug history. People who, with lived experience, are offer non-judgmental support, creating a space. Again, creating a space where people who use drugs have a voice in how to have that space function. Say, for instance, the community center. People come in there, they have a right and a space that would design to help them reduce harm to themselves and to the community, reduce the return to use, meet people where they at, and love those people and understand those people. The next slide is where I want to go to at the end, the education piece there. Again, if you all are not, or we are not providing education in our communities so that we can clean up the community, and we are not making it better so the people who use drugs won't feel like they are trapped, we're not empowering those people to make informed decisions and less harmful choices, then we are doing our community an injustice. The next slide is where we go for questions, and next slide. Keep going, thank you. Right there. We, again, in 30 counties in the state of Alabama. We have community centers in 7 large thoroughbred cities. One is in Montgomery, 2100 Mount Meigs Road. If we want to work on our community, we got to put something in place that can help reduce the harm to these people that are using and have drug history. Again, are there any questions? Next slide. Any questions, anything you all would like to ask?
Mr. Pro Tem? I just want to let everybody know, I've gone through the process of procuring the naloxone from the Jefferson County Health Department. It's easy. It takes about 10 minutes. I carry it on me at all times, either in my vehicle or my bag. I know the governor's been pushing this really, really hard, so I highly, just to echo what you had said, highly encourage everybody to get online to do it. It's a super important opportunity. You can save a life almost instantly, so I appreciate what you're doing and just want to put that out there.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
all for allowing
Smith.
me to present to you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Ian Malloy.
Thank you, Council. Today, I just wanted to come up and have a discussion with you guys. May 21st there was the shooting at Tipico, New Mexico, the Mexican restaurant on Taylor Road. That happened to be as well happened the night of a city council meeting in coincidence to the one of the Mexican grocery store. Well, I wanted to not just come up and talk about some negativity. I wanted to bring something that we could celebrate. Now, he might not think that it was a big deal, but I'd like to recognize Captain Champlin. The day after that shooting, I went to eat there at Tipico, New Mexico, and they were all scared, intimidated, as they should. Messaged Captain Champlin, because he was here at that session. I said, hey, do you think we could get an officer over there just to turn some blue lights on tonight while they close down? They're very nervous. And he said, that is a very reasonable request. Let me see what I can do. And then I went back in a couple days later, and they said that had happened. So I just think that we should celebrate these things. It's a small victory, but it gave that community a small peace of mind that we support them, and we want them here and not to feel like they're abandoned. So I have a request that the mayor has said in a couple of press conferences that he is fully open to transparency. I'd like to see the city council put crime and public safety on the agenda until we can get this thing under control. Not just to criticize the statistics. You guys know the statistics. We don't have to tell you how bad it is. But maybe we can get up here and celebrate the good that's also being done in this department and in the city. Just something that y'all, I think, should be considered because it's more than the losses. We've got wins too, and we need to celebrate that. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Malloy. Council, got anything else? Move to adjourn and we'll reconvene at 12 o'clock.